Welcome and thank you for spending a few quiet minutes with the sky today. Before we begin, one thing matters more than anything else for getting an accurate reading. These forecasts follow the Vedic system using your sidereal moon sign, not your sun sign. Readings today are from your moon sign. The link below finds yours in 10 seconds. If you have only ever known your Western sun sign, take that moment now because the transits we walk through are counted as houses from the moon, and choosing the right sign changes everything you hear afterward. Here is the shape of Friday, the 31st of July, with all timings anchored to New Delhi. The Tithi running through most of the day is Krishna Dvitiya, the second phase of the waning moon, and it holds until 22:32 tonight. This is a soft, steady lunar mood, well suited to consolidating what you started rather than forcing something brand new. The nakshatra is Dhanishta, active until 1926. Dhanishta carries a rhythmic, capable quality, the kind of energy that likes structure, timing, and getting things finished properly. If you have work that needs coordination with other people, the earlier part of the day supports it well. The yoga is Saubhagya, running until 23:53, a genuinely pleasant, well-wishing influence across the day. Karana is Taitila until 10:04. A few timing notes, offered practically and without any alarm. Rahu Kala falls between 10:46 and 12:27. So if you have a choice, place important starts outside that window and use those minutes for review, tidying, or a quiet meal. Yamaganda runs 15:50 to 17:31 and Gulika Kala from 7:23 to 9:04. These are simply softer windows, not closed doors. Now let us move to the signs, beginning as always from your moon sign. Aries, your mind is unusually light today, and that lightness is what makes this a good window for reaching outward. Yesterday, the moon sat in your 10th house, so your thoughts likely ran steady and work shaped, focused on duty and standing. Today, the moon moves into Aquarius, your 11th house of networks, gains, and friendships, which supports conversations with groups, colleagues, and people slightly ahead of you. If money questions are open, let one honest conversation carry them rather than solo effort. Venus, your period lord, sits in Leo in your 5th house, and that is where the payoff of those conversations shows. Warmth returns in romance, in play, in time with children, and in the creative thing you keep postponing. Aries, ruled by Mars, courage and quick decisive starts are your native language, so you rarely need permission to begin. Energy runs well today. Though Friday favors pacing rather than pushing, Dhanistha runs until 1926, a good stretch for steady, rhythmic work. White is a calm color to wear, and 9, a friendly number to keep close. The day began with clarity of duty and ends with clarity of heart. Somewhere in it, quietly feed someone who is hungry, asking nothing back. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Taurus, today favors quiet consolidation of what you have already built, and your steadiness is the whole method. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 9, and with Mars moving through your own sign, you likely felt your physical presence and drive sharpen into something almost restless. Today, the moon has moved into your house 10, the house of work and public standing, which supports visible, professional effort. Use the earlier part of the day for the task that others will actually see, and let Mercury in its own sign in your 2nd house keep your words about money precise. Saturn in your 11th casts its full 3rd aspect, and Taurus, This steadies your networks and long term goals rather than your inbox. A friendship or group commitment answers more warmly if you reach out plainly. Venus, your ruler and today's period Lord, sits in your fourth house from Leo. So, home is where your energy restores itself. Patience and steady building are your native language, and today rewards exactly that. Friday's own Lord being Venus makes rest at home genuinely nourishing tonight. So the arc closes where it began, in your own strength, quietly consolidated. Somewhere today, feed someone who is hungry and let that be complete in itself. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Gemini, today your mind lifts into wider air and the ideas you reach for arrive with unusual clarity. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 8, so you may have felt turned inward, sitting with something you were not quite ready to say aloud. Now, the moon moves through Aquarius in your house 9, the house of perspective and learning, and that widens how you see your work. Mercury, your own ruler, travels through Gemini in your first house, and curiosity and quick connection truly are your native language. Use that today to explain an idea you have been circling. Venus, your period lord, sits in Leo in your third house, which favors conversations with siblings, neighbors, and close collaborators. This is where that idea lands. Gemini, say it simply to one person who listens well, and let the exchange do the rest. Energy holds steady, while Dhanistha runs until 1926, so put your most demanding thinking before that hour and let the evening ease. Rahu Kala falls between 10:46 and 12:27 in New Delhi time, a gentle window to review rather than launch. The day carries you from inward quiet into open sky. Somewhere in it, feed someone who is hungry, quietly, asking nothing at all. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Cancer, today asks you to stay close to what is already yours and to move gently until the morning settles. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 7, so partnership and the give and take of other people likely held most of your attention. Now the moon has moved into your house 8, an inward, sorting kind of placement, and a Chandrashtama window sits over you until 6:38 local time. Keep the first hour simple and let anything weighty wait until after. Your period lord Venus sits in Leo in your second house, which favors steady tending of money, family resources, and the words you speak. Cancer, you are ruled by the moon, so care and deep intuition are your native language. And today that instinct reads people better than any argument does. Let a partner or colleague speak first, then answer from what you sensed rather than what you rehearsed. With the sun and an exalted Jupiter both in your first house, your energy is genuinely well supported, so use the quieter morning for rest and the afternoon for what needs your presence. That is the arc, a hushed start opening into clear ground. Somewhere today, feed someone who is hungry and let that be complete in itself. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. Leo, today favors you in the room where two people meet, and your best moves are the ones made face to face. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 6, and with Venus arriving in your own sign, you likely felt your warmth and presence noticed again. On money and work, Mars sits in your 10th and casts its full 4th aspect, which gives your professional effort a steady push. Use that momentum on one visible task early before the Rahu Kala window from 10:46 to 12:27 in New Delhi time, and let the rest of the day carry lighter work. In relationships, The moon crossed into Aquarius at 1:08 UTC and now travels your 7th house, your house of partnership. So conversations land better when you invite the other person to speak first. Leo, you are ruled by the sun. Warmth and natural leadership are your native language, and today that language sounds best at a lower volume. For energy, Venus as your period lord sits in Leo, in your first house, supporting how you feel in your own body. Keep the pace unhurried, and white is a kind color to wear. The arc settles simply. What began quietly ends in good company. If someone near you is short of a meal today, quietly share one. Go easy on yourself today. The stars are patient, and you can be too. Virgo, today favors you when you work through the small, exact steps rather than the grand gesture. Yesterday, the moon sat in your 5th house, a quieter placement that asked you to work steadily, and you likely felt that slower rhythm. Today, the moon moves into Aquarius, your 6th house, at 1:08 UTC, and the 6th is the house of daily work and problem solving that supports you in clearing backlogs, tidying accounts, and finishing what was left half done. Mercury, your ruler, sits in its own sign Gemini in your 10th house of career. Precision and quiet service are your native language, and today others can see it in your work. In relationships, Virgo, Saturn sits in your 7th house and casts its full aspect. So partnership asks for patience and plainly spoken commitments rather than speed. Venus, your period lord, sits in Leo in your 12th house, which is a good window for rest, solitude, and letting some social noise pass. Guard your sleep and keep the day's pace measured, especially through Rahu Kala from 10:46 to 12:27. So the steady rhythm you began yesterday becomes visible competence today. If you can, share a meal with someone who is hungry and let that be the whole of it. Wishing you a calm and steady day ahead. Libra, today favors light, sociable creativity over heavy lifting, and your instinct for graceful fairness is exactly the right tool. Yesterday, the moon sat in your 4th house and brought a quieter inner rhythm, so a slower start makes sense. At 1:08 UTC, the moon moved into Aquarius, your 5th house, and that lifts your work into ideas, play, and self expression. Pitch the concept you have been shaping rather than grinding through routine. Venus, your ruler, is your period lord today and sits in Leo in your 11th house. So, friends, networks, and group circles carry your good news. By evening, one conversation there can turn a loose idea into a real plan. Libra, in relationships, the same 11th house warmth softens things. So let a friendship be simple today and say the appreciative thing out loud. Saturn is retrograde in Pisces in your 6th house of daily routines, which gently ask you to rework habits rather than add new ones. Keep the workload modest between 10:46 and 12:27 New Delhi time and pick it back up after. So the day opens outward from yesterday's quiet, ending brighter than it began. If someone near you is going without a meal, offer one quietly, expecting nothing. Let today be simple. That is enough. Scorpio, today favors an inward steadiness that quietly holds everything else in place. Yesterday, the moon opened in your 3rd house, and your mind likely carried the day with a light, easy grip. Now the moon settles into your 4th house from your moon sign, entering Aquarius at 1:08 UTC. So, work is best done from a settled base rather than a rushed one. Your period lord Venus sits in your 10th house in Leo, which supports visible, careful effort. Finish the piece of work others will actually see. Mars, your ruler, sits in your seventh house of partnership and casts its full seventh aspect back across you, Scorpio, and that is where the payoff of a calm morning shows. Conversations land better when you speak first and briefly, without pressing. Depth and quiet resilience are your native language and they serve you here. Jupiter, exalted in your ninth house, casts its full fifth aspect, supporting clear judgment and good counsel. So keep the day gentle around Rahu Kala from 10:46 to 12:27 New Delhi time and rest properly once Dhanishta ends at 19:26. The settled base you built this morning is what carries the evening. Somewhere today, quietly feed someone who is hungry. May something small go beautifully right for you today. Sagittarius, today rewards the honest question over the clever one, and you are unusually well placed to ask it. Yesterday's quieter stretch asked you for patience and steady effort, and that patience has left you clearer than you feel. The moon has moved into Aquarius, your third house, since 1/8 UTC, which supports short conversations, writing, and small nearby errands rather than grand launches. Your period lord Venus sits in Leo in your ninth, so work that touches teaching, publishing, or long range planning has warmth in it today. Mercury in your seventh house of partnership casts its full seventh aspect back across you. Sagittarius, so agreements clarify when you speak plainly. That is where the clarity you earned yesterday shows up. Say the simple version of what you want, and the other person meets you there. Saturn, retrograde in your fourth, casts its 10th aspect, which can make home feel slow to settle. Keep one domestic task small and finish it. Mars in your sixth supports steady routine, so protect your rest around a busy Friday. Jupiter rules you, and optimism with honest seeking is your native language, not a mood you have to manufacture. Let today's patience become tomorrow's plain speech, and share a meal with someone who is going without. Carry this lightly and have a truly good day. Capricorn, today rewards the quiet consistency you already carry, and your steadiest movement happens through conversation rather than solo effort. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 1, so your mind likely felt clear and grounded, easy to settle into. Today, the moon has moved into your second house, the house of resources and speech, since 1/8 UTC, which favors careful talk about money, rates, and what you actually own. Mercury sits in its own sign, Gemini, in your sixth house, so your daily routines and detailed work support you well. Handle one practical task properly before the Tithi Krishna Dvitiya ends at 22:32. Capricorn, both the Sun and Jupiter occupy your seventh house of partnership and cast full aspects across your chart today, which brings other people forward: a spouse, a business partner, a client. Listen more than you argue and let someone else shape the plan. Venus, your period lord, sits in Leo in your 8th house, so pace your energy gently and rest when your body asks. You are ruled by Saturn. Steady effort and long patience are your native language, and today they simply work through another person's presence. Let that partnership warmth extend outward too. Share a meal with someone who has none, asking nothing back. The day is yours to shape. Shape it kindly. Aquarius, today the day turns toward you, and your own clarity becomes the most useful tool in the room. Yesterday's quieter phase asked you to work steadily without fanfare, and you likely felt a little unseen while you did it. Now the moon has come home to your own sign, house 1, arriving from Capricorn at 1:08 UTC, and that shift puts your presence back at the center of your work and money decisions. Saturn, your ruler, sits retrograde in your second house of resources, which favors reviewing what you already earn rather than chasing something new. Original thinking and quiet conviction are your native language, Aquarius, so a slow second look today serves you better than speed. Venus, the period lord, sits in Leo in your seventh house of partnership and casts its full aspect back across you, which supports honest, warm conversation with a partner or close colleague. Ask the question you have been holding. For energy, the moon in your first house lifts your vitality, so keep the day simple and let Dhanista's steadiness carry you until 1926. The quiet work has become visible ground. Offer someone a meal or a genuine hand today, asking nothing back. For your free full chart, the website has it waiting. Walk gently today and let the day come to you. Pisces, today favors a quieter, inward kind of progress, and that suits you more than any push ever could. Yesterday, the moon opened in your house 11, so gains, friends, and network chatter likely kept you outward facing and busy. Now the moon moves into Aquarius, your 12th house, from 1:08 UTC, and that supports closing loops rather than opening new ones. Clear one lingering task quietly today. Your period lord Venus sits in Leo in your 6th house of work and service, which favors steady effort behind the scenes over recognition. Pisces, ruled by Jupiter, compassion and imaginative depth are truly your native language. An exalted Jupiter in your 5th house, casting its full ninth aspect, supports warmth in how you speak to those you love. Let a small, honest conversation carry more weight than a long one. For energy, the 12th house emphasis asks for rest, so guard your sleep and keep the pace gentle. White is your color today and 3 your number. Nakshatra Dhanishta runs until 1926, a good window for finishing quietly. So the day settles inward, and that is its gift. Somewhere today, share food or a little time with someone who has less, asking nothing in return. May today bring you one moment worth remembering. May this day treat you gently, and may you meet it with the steadiness you already carry. Move through your hours at a pace that lets you notice things. A good conversation, a task finished cleanly, a moment of quiet before the evening settles. Take what is useful from today's sky and let the rest pass without weight. And if the chance comes to make someone's day a little lighter, a shared meal, a hand offered without being asked, take it simply, expecting nothing at all. If today's sky was useful, subscribing keeps it coming every morning.